Hello everyone. It's a pleasure to welcome you to the fourth lecture of the Plural Perspectives video lecture series by the Postgraduate Department of English, Pioneer College, Pioneer. This lecture is based on the lesson Learning to be a Mother by Shashi Deshpande in the textbook Plural Perspectives, Readings on Gender, prescribed for the second semester UG English Common Course students of Kannur University, Course 2A Not 4 English. Let me introduce you to the author. Shashi Deshpande is a versatile writer and eminent novelist of contemporary Indian literature in English. She was born in 1938 in Dharwad, Karnataka, as the daughter of the Sanskrit scholar, novelist and dramatist Adya Rangacharya and Sharada Adi. She studied economics and political science from Bombay University. She has also studied law and journalism. The Dark Holes No Terrors was written in 1980. She won the Sahitya Academy Award for the novel That Long Silence in 1990. She has written several perceptive essays in the volume entitled Writing from the Margin and Other Essays. Her other notable novels are Roots and Shadows, A Binding Wine, A Matter of Time, Small Remedies. She has also written a number of books for children. Her works are based on the experiences of her life and women's issues. She was on the Sahitya Academy's council and was a chairperson of the jury of the Commonwealth Writers' Prize in 2000. She has also received the prestigious Padma Shri in 2009. But she returned a Sahitya Academy Award protesting the Academy's silence on the murder of M.M. Kalburgi. The present essay is about the idea of motherhood and the myths associated with it. Learning to be a mother. The title seemingly misleads the reader to assume that this is an instruction manual on how to be a mother. However, it goes on to actually debunk the notion of what a mother is meant to be. Mothers are depicted as a figure who's trapped in a cycle of sacrifice, forgiveness, void of any personality. Shashi Deshpande wants to prove all these notions as something wrong, and she has her own perspectives. So I like to go on to what she tells, her ideas on motherhood and on her personality. Shashi Deshpande begins the text by quoting Anne Tyler. I'll quote, "People always talk about mothers' uncanny ability to read her children, but that was nothing compared to how children could read their mothers." Shashi Deshpande says that she learned about motherhood from her mother. She picked up nuggets of wisdom, that is, certain facts of wisdom from her mother, which is stored in her mind till she became a mother herself. She learned from her mother that her mother is like God, all loving and forgiving, sacred like God, all sacrificing, sympathizing. She also learned that childbirth is a painful but joyous process and one goes through it without shedding a tear. Naturally, the moment you become a mother, nobility and goodness are supposed to follow suit. But Shashi Deshpande says that she saw as a child that mothers tire of their children and say, "Get out of my sight, why don't you go out?" She also realized that mothers want you to be what you're not and not what you are. Mothers can be partial. As she grew older, she also realized a few more things, that mothers can thwart their children's ambition, children's desires, and try to get things through their children. A mother's sacrifice can become a rope to tether her children to herself. When she became a mother herself, she knew that childbirth was a hideously painful process. She remembered how she howled like an animal in pain. Motherhood is achieved only after painful physical struggle. Nothing comes naturally, not even breastfeeding. You have to learn how to do it. She did not become a different person when she became a mother. She was the same person. Nobility and goodness did not descend suddenly. Then begins the doubts and agonies. She also wondered whether she was an unnatural mother. She felt trapped, though she was flooded with joy at her baby and was filled with ecstasy. But its demands only tormented her. She looked back with nostalgia when she had been a girl, half savage, hardy and free. She was filled with rage at the unceasing demands on her. She had promised not to quarrel with her children over trifles, but she was caught in maddening tangles. She could in no way come near to the fantasy figure, the so-called perfect mother. The idea of the fantasy mother is very much in the air that one breathes. It is embedded in myths. The author tells a beautiful story. A mother loved her son so much that she could deny him nothing. Instigated by his cruel beloved, he asked for her heart, the mother's heart, which the mother gladly allowed to cut out of her body. But when he was rushing to his beloved, with his mother's heart in hand, he fell and the heart said, "My son, have you hurt yourself?" Such a halo is promised to mothers. The movies also portrayed the mother as pure and simple. She is often a widow. She is shown off even humanhood. She has no desires at all, not even hunger. All her dreams center around her children, nothing for herself. Sexuality, the very thought is blasphemy. Shashi Deshpande laughs at the unreal figure. There is nothing but confusion in her mind when she thinks of herself as a mother. She told that she wrote a story, Death of a Child, in which a woman decides to abort an unwanted fetus. In the dark holes, no terrors, there is a mother-daughter conflict. So her listeners asked her, why are the mothers in a novel so cruel and unwomanly? The author was astounded. She could have answered, only when there is love, there is conflict. Now that her children are grown up, the author has got a glimpse of an answer to some of her confusions. When one becomes a mother, one does not automatically shed all her personality and become just a mother. She is still the person she was, an individual who has her own unique personality. Motherhood is neither holy nor sacred, it is natural. Nature wants a mother to nurture the vulnerable life that she has produced. Nature's goal is survival, no more. Mothers are human and she can be selfish and cruel. She wants freedom from clinging, at the same time nurturing them. Mothers can be possessive, sadistic. There is nothing called perfect motherhood. Motherhood is something that cannot be calibrated, stresses Shashi Deshpande. All rationalization about motherhood was fine, but when she was both a writer and a mother, things got more complicated. She doubted whether she was drowning in an emotional morass, losing in mindless chores. When her son was 3, she began writing, but it was a desultory kind of writing. But when it began to absorb all her time, problems began. Writing can be a demanding task as children are. It is a struggle for any woman. For a mother, it is hopeless. Women want both work and family life. In India, there was no question of choices. The author got married, had children, began writing. None of these was a conscious choice. She drifted into all of them. Wanted to do justice to all these, for which she had to pay a price. She quotes the artist Keith Kollwitz. One struggles to get it done. It was a balancing act. Bernard Shaw, the eminent writer, commented, He spoke of the oddness of the fact that people take up the most difficult of all professions, that is parenthood, without having any qualifications for it. The author felt the same. She was not qualified to be a mother. She was short-tempered, lacked patience, wanted freedom, and hated to be clung to. She wanted to be a good mother, a friend to her children, but she was unable to do any of these. But when the children grew up and went away, there is an emptiness. The author is saved from despair because of her work. She always questioned herself, isn't motherhood but one facet of a human? Have I been a good mother? Let us conclude by saying that one need not be a slave to gender indoctrination and celebrate the multifaceted capacities of herself. Now let us try to answer a few questions from the text. First question: what are the nuggets of wisdom the author is talking about? The author learned that a mother was like God, all loving and forgiving. She's understanding and sacrificing. She also learned that childbirth was a painful but joyous process. Second question: what did Shashi Deshpande realize about a mother when she was a child? Shashi Deshpande realized that mothers often tire of their children and shout at them. They are very much human and not like God. Third one: what happened to the realization as she grew older? She realized that mothers can thwart their children's ambitions, stifle their desires. She tethers her children to herself. The fourth question: what is the author nostalgic about? The author was nostalgic about the days when she was a girl, half savage, hardy and free. Fifth one: what were the tangled thread that Shashi Deshpande eventually unravelled? The author unravelled the tangle that her own mother had an idealized notion of motherhood, which is only a fantasy and she could never reach it. The sixth question: comment on the portrayal of mothers in movies. Movies portrayed mother as pure, simple, shorn of humanhood. Her dreams are only about her children and nothing for herself. Sexuality is blasphemy and she is always clad in white. The seventh question: how is a mother portrayed in the stories of Shashi Deshpande as mentioned in the essay? Mothers are portrayed as devoid of sentimentality. They even seem cruel and unwomanly. Eighth question: what is perfect motherhood according to the author? There is no perfect motherhood and mothers are human. They can be selfish, freedom-loving, even while nurturing and loving their children. Motherhood cannot be calibrated. Ninth question: what are the doubts and agonies of a new mother? The author had heard that childbirth was a joyous process, but for her it was painful. Nothing came naturally. She had to work for it. She doubted whether she was an unnatural woman. Motherhood was a state of vulnerability. The 10th question: why does the author feel guilty? The author wanted work and family. She could not give enough time for her children and the balancing act was difficult. The next question: what is Bernard Shaw's opinion about parenthood? Bernard Shaw found it odd that people took up the most difficult of all professions, which is parenthood, without having any qualifications for it. The last question: what is the concept of self-sacrifice that the author is talking about? The concept of self-sacrifice does not arise because what the author did for her children was done of her own accord. Hope the lecture was useful for you. Thank you.